You are bored right now. Maybe not this exact second, but you were bored today. You picked up your phone for no reason. You opened an app, closed it, opened it again. You stared at the ceiling. You felt that strange, hollow restlessness that has no obvious cause and no obvious cure. And here is the strange part. Your ancestors, the ones who lived in caves, who hunted prey across open plains, who survived ice ages and famines and predators that could outrun them, they almost certainly never felt what you just felt. Not once. That is not an exaggeration. Boredom, as you experience it, may be one of the newest sensations in the entire history of the human mind. Think about what boredom actually is. It is not tiredness. It is not sadness. It is a very specific feeling. The feeling that nothing around you is worth your attention. That the world has failed to offer you something sufficiently stimulating. That time is passing too slowly and you are trapped inside it. Psychologist John Eastwood at York University has spent years studying this state, and his research defines boredom as the failure to engage your attentional system with something meaningful. Your brain wants to latch onto something. Nothing catches, so it sends out a distress signal. That signal is boredom. Now here is what your ancestors were doing while your attentional system was busy failing to engage. They were tracking animals across terrain that shifted with every season. They were reading the sky for weather, reading the ground for footprints, reading the faces of every member of their small group for signs of alliance or threat. They were processing an unending stream of information that was not entertainment. It was survival. Their attention was not restless because it was never idle. Every moment contained something that mattered. This is not romantic mythology. Anthropologist Daniel Lieberman at Harvard has written extensively about the mismatch between the environment your brain was designed for and the environment you actually live in. Your brain is the product of roughly 2 million years of evolution inside a world that was relentlessly, exhaustingly demanding. Hunger was a constant negotiation. Danger was ambient. Social belonging required active daily maintenance. Your attention evolved to be the most sophisticated threat and opportunity detection system on Earth. And now you are using it to scroll through images of people you barely know. The brain does not understand why nothing is happening. Nothing is supposed to not happen. In the ancestral environment, stillness was a warning sign. If the forest went quiet, something was wrong. If your group stopped moving, you were either resting briefly or something had gone very badly. The nervous system that your body inherited was not built for the concept of leisure time, because leisure time did not meaningfully exist for most of human history. There were seasons of relative abundance, yes. There were evenings by the fire. But even those were not empty. They were filled with story, with song, with the repair of tools and the mending of relationships. Every idle hour had a texture. What changed? Why do you get bored when your ancestors did not? The answer is a combination of two forces that arrived together and transformed the human experience faster than evolution could follow. The first is abundance. When your basic needs are met with almost no effort, when food is available by pressing a button, when shelter is a legal right, when physical safety is the norm rather than the exception, your brain loses the constant stream of meaningful problems it evolved to solve. The second force is novelty. You now have access to more stimulation than any human being in history. More stories, more images, more information, more entertainment, more noise. And paradoxically, this flood of novelty has made your brain harder to stimulate, not easier. This is a phenomenon researcher Brock Bastian at the University of Melbourne describes as hedonic adaptation. The more stimulation you receive, the higher your baseline for what counts as interesting. Your attentional threshold rises every time you consume something new. What thrilled you at 10 feels flat at 30. What captivated you in January feels routine by March. You are not broken. You are running ancient hardware inside an environment it was never designed to process. The brain adapts its expectations to match its inputs, and your inputs have become so extreme, so constant, and so varied that ordinary reality cannot compete. Consider what your attentional system is actually comparing against when you feel bored. It is not comparing the present moment against some neutral baseline. It is comparing the present moment against the most stimulating thing it has recently experienced. If you spent the last hour watching fast-cut video content designed by engineers to maximize engagement, then the quiet experience of sitting with your own